Okay. What is up, everybody? It's your girl, MeriaMarie, and welcome back to the MeriaMarie podcast. Now, this episode is going to be a little different because I'm not as hyper and perky as I usually am, and that's because this is going to be one of my serious episodes. So, if you remember from my past episodes, we've talked about self love and self journey, social media, what I've learned about myself, my growth over the years, not letting the world change me, and also discussing relationships. And I had my best friend Thina as a guest for discussing relationships for the last episode. So, this is episode 7. This is going to be about mental health. Now, trying to mentally prepare myself because this is going to be one of my hardest episodes because this is going to be more personal. And I know that my family and my friends are going to be watching this. So, with that being said, we're just going to jump straight into it. So, mental health is very serious. I'm not going to lie. It is very serious. You can go through anxiety, depression, trauma, and I've always sympathized with people that have went through mental health. And so now I can finally share my story. Because originally I already was in the process of like recording this episode like in back in March, but the recording didn't save. And I'm actually kind of glad that it didn't save because I realized that when I tried to film that episode, I didn't know that I was going through my own mental health issues until afterwards. So I'm kind of glad it didn't save. So now I can discuss it now. So let me discuss my mental health. So for the past 2 years, I've just been consistent, doing things back to back, not really taking breaks. And I was always like, okay, doing this, doing schoolwork, cool. Not really taking time for myself. And I'm like, you know what? It's fine. I can deal with it. I can worry about my personal issues later. And just kept going and going. And then I'm not realizing that I'm slowly burning out because I'm like, no, it's fine. Whatever I'm dealing with, I can worry about that another time. And so I will have to say that when I finally realized that, hey, you're not okay, was a few weeks ago. Like a couple weeks ago, honestly, like towards the end of March is when I finally reached my breaking point because I'm like just constantly focusing on my schoolwork, all the organizations that I'm part of, trying to figure out when I was going to do my next podcast episode, like just keeping myself occupied, not really focusing on my mental health. And then as I'm doing all of this question just kept popping up in my head over and over and over again. And I just kept pushing it to the side. It was like, when are you going to accept the fact that mentally you're gone and that you need to slow down and accept reality? And I'm like, no, I'm accepting reality. It's just like mentally, I think I'm still okay. But it finally got to a point where I was like, I'm really not okay. And I need to accept that or it could get worse. And so I had finally accepted it. It was hard because I cried that whole week. I'm not even gonna lie. And it's still kind of hard to like talk about it or deal with it because I never thought I would have gotten to that point, but I did. And so I was like, okay, I'm not okay. And I don't know how to share that I'm not okay. And so at the moment, like that whole week, I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like, okay, what can I do? What can I do to make sure that I'm okay? Because I'm so used to like checking on everybody else and making sure they're okay, make sure they're good. I always put myself last. I don't know if that's like generic trait. I don't know if I got that from someone, but I always put other people first and I would always put myself last and just worry about me later. And I realized that I can't do that. I can't do that. It's not good mentally or physically for your body. And so I was like, okay. I was like, I need to make a decision. And I made a decision that I thought was best for me personally and for my mental health because I was telling people, like, hey, I don't think this is good for me. I think I just need to step away from certain things and do what I think is best. And I can't disclose what that is, but trust me, it's good for me. But at the same time, I'm like, it was a good decision because I was like, this is the decision I made myself. Because normally I like discuss with my family first what I'm gonna do before I make a decision. But this time it was different because I made the decision before I discussed it with them, and they were like, okay, they they are with me on that, and they're supportive because they're like, at the end of the day, it was different when I was younger because I was a kid during that time, and it was important to discuss it with them. But now I'm making my own decisions as an adult, and it's different because I need to prioritize myself and see, like, hey, which decision or which choice do you think will work best for you? And so I'm thankful that they're very supportive of my decision. And after I made that decision, I felt relieved. I felt happy, and I haven't felt this happy in a long time. And that says a lot because for the past 2 years, I thought I was fine until March hit. And then I realized, no, you're really not. But now I can finally say that, hey, this decision really was an eye opener for me, and it was the best decision that I made. And so that's why I wanted to do a mental health episode because health and wellness is so important. And there was this class I was taking, and I was a little hesitant about the mindfulness app that we had to use, but I'm kind of glad that I did because I did a lot of more breathing exercises, sitting exercises, walking, and stuff like that, just to mentally just have a moment to myself, mentally and physically. And so, one of the things I have written down, because I have the notebook with me this time, one of the things I written down for health and wellness is self care. And so, with self care, one of the things I do that you all know, I do exercise, but another thing that I do is journaling. I never told y'all why I started journaling, so I think this is the perfect time. So, the reason why I started journaling is because I'm the type of person who has a lot on her mind, and I never really want to share it or express it with everyone because I always want to figure it out myself. And so I started journaling and I just wrote down everything that was going on in my life at that moment or whatever I was feeling over the past few years, and I never expressed it then. So I would just write it down as either just a regular journal or as poetry. And so as the years just kept going on, I would start journaling everything that was going on, whether it was the good or the bad. And I don't regret it because I'm like, it's my perspective of what was going on in my life during that time and still goes on through my life. And I remember going back and reading it from when I started. I believe I started journaling in 2020, so 5 years ago. And I was like, love is just, I was like, I don't feel it. I didn't feel it. I don't know if it's because I wasn't seeing a lot of people showcasing it, but I was like, I don't really understand love. But I was like, eventually, hopefully, I could understand it somewhere down the line. And it's just kind of sad because I sit back and reflect and I'm like, there are good moments and happy moments, don't get me wrong, but there's also other moments that have stuck with me, and I'm just like, you've been through a lot, and not many people know you went through a lot because you've either held it in for yourself or you just didn't want no one else to know and didn't want to discuss it at all, thinking that it would just go away. And in reality, it didn't. And that's okay. And so at this part of my life, about to be going on 22 years old, I have a different mindset because I've always been so hesitant. And it's referring back to, if y'all think back to my last episode when it came to discussing relationships, I always was telling myself, like, based on relationships that I've seen, I didn't think that relationships were going to be good for me or they were going to work out. Due to also what I've dealt with when it came to talking, like the talking stages and all that, and how I have it could have experienced relationships, but they weren't going to work out because it was either toxic or the person didn't really want to be with me and stuff like that. So, dealing with relationships and mental health at the same time, I think that's why my mindset was like, I couldn't intertwine them. I could just, I couldn't even focus on either one. I couldn't focus on relationships because I was like, relationships, not for me, throw it out the window. And then with mental health, I was like, mental health, I'll worry about that later. I'll be fine. I can move on with my life and on my day. And I remember my mom told me this because I had a conversation with her about this. It was about relationships. And she was like, you are at the point in your life where you should be dating. And she was like, I understand you want to be cautious and everything. At the same time, don't close the door too early. And I thought about that because I was like, I've been closing a lot of doors. When it came to my mental health, I closed the door on that. And that caused me to be mentally drained, stressed, probably also mood swings as well because one moment I was fine, then next moment I'm just angry or I'm sad. And I could never figure out why. I was like, why? Why is my mood switching? I'm like, maybe it's just hormones. But no, I'm like, you're dealing with so much in so much little time and you're not taking time to process it. And so that's when I'm like, okay, what can I do? Do I mention it to someone? Do I disregard it? Do I go to therapy? And I would say a lot of people were suggesting therapy. I chose not to do therapy for the simple fact that, like, I'm appreciative of everybody suggesting it, but I knew me, and if I would have went after everybody was suggesting it, I knew I wasn't going to be going for myself, and I would want to go for myself, and not just because it was brought up or suggested. That's another thing that's mindful. I've been setting boundaries lately, many boundaries, because I'm so used to just being there for everyone, supporting everyone, rooting for them, being their shoulder to cry on whenever they need it, checking in when they're at their lowest. And it got to a point where I was like, I need to dial it back. For the simple fact is, I don't mind being there for people, but it becomes a problem when they don't do the same for me. That's when I was like, I need to protect myself and more so protect my well being. Because again, there's nothing wrong with being there for people, but it's like when no one's there for you at your lowest, when you're going through things, it's like, what are you doing this for? Because there have been times when I was at my lowest and I needed someone there for me. And I'll admit, there were people that were not there for me. And it hurt. It hurt a lot, even for like the good things. Like when good things were happening in my life and people were telling me like they were proud. And the reason why I say emphasis on proud is because like there's like, oh, I'm so proud of you. I'll do this. I'll be there for you for this. And then they're not there or they just cut you off out of nowhere. And I remember last year, this is what really shocked me. But then at the same time, I was like, I can't keep being shocked by people doing this to me. And so I remember last year when I got baptized, I was excited. I was thrilled because I was on my self journey for a while now. And me getting baptized, that was one of the best moments and the best day for me. And I just remember so many people, like, don't get me wrong, there's so many people that were happy for me, but the people that I were close to and I thought would be happy for me, they stopped communicating with me. They cut all communications off with me. They stopped talking to me. They wouldn't even answer any text or anything. And I'm just like, okay, like, what did I do wrong? And it sucks when you go through that, especially when people know that you're close to that person. And then whenever they see you, they be like, they'll ask you, like, hey, how are you? Or how is so and so? Or when was the last time you seen so and so? And it just stings because it's like, they're so used to you being around that person and you just can't help but be like, oh, I wish I knew as well, but I haven't heard from them as well. So it's just like they're constantly being asked about and it's like what can you do? They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to communicate with you, and then you have to break it to people that you haven't heard from them either, and then they're caught off guard by that because they're like, okay. So, y'all, I've been through a lot, and I'm accepting the fact that I've been through a lot. And this is the first time I'm actually being more vocal about it because normally I'm just to myself. Like it's very rare. Like I'll say a little things every now and then, but even now, there's like so much more I could say. Because if I were to just throw everything out there, we would be here not even for hours, for years. Because there's like so much I could just put out there on the table. It is so much, and it's just crazy because I'm like, why? I'm like, why? Why does it always happen to me? Why does it always backfire on me? Because I'm always willing to help people. But the moment I ask for help, it always backfires. And it did again recently. Asked the one time I asked for help, it backfires on me. And I'm like, okay, this is why I don't ask anyone for help. This is why I stay to myself. But at the same time, it's a life lesson. I gotta learn that not everyone is my friend. And I'm accepting that because I'm too friendly. I'm not gonna lie, I'm too friendly. I'm like very openly friendly. Like if I see a person, I'll say, hey, I'll smile, I'll do whatever. I'm too friendly and I'm like so quick to like get to know a person and be friends with them. And I'm just like, at this point, that was a reality check. Like, hey, everybody's not your friend. And so lost another friend. It's okay. You live and you learn. But at the same time, I realized that I wouldn't be going through this if God didn't know that I couldn't handle it, and He knows I can handle it, so therefore I'm going through all this. And hey, trials and tribulations, people, trials and tribulations. So I've been doing some coping mechanisms lately. Journaling is one of them, of course. Exercising. Also, I'm starting to have more time to myself. Like I'm having more personal time to myself. I started to get back into my hobbies because for a while I wasn't getting back into my hobbies. Like I had stopped sewing. There was a lot of things I stopped doing. I got back into sewing and I was so excited to start back sewing. Every now and then I do a little meditating. I don't do this too much, of course, because like I exercise more than I meditate. So I don't do meditation as often. And then, of course, prayer. Pray all day, every day. And then I also, my Bible is always nearby, no matter where I go. I could be going into another room. If I go to another city for just a few days, it's with me everywhere. And I think it's important to have a coping mechanism because, let me see, how can I put this in a gentle way? Because for me, I didn't want to cope at all. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't. But sometimes you have to, because you take that moment to self-reflect on where you are in your life and what's your next step and how you want to go about it. And so I can say that despite the bad that I've experienced in my life, I'm still thankful for it. I'm thankful for all good and the bad that I've went through in my life. Because if I didn't go through it, I wouldn't have learned from it. I wouldn't have grown from it. And I wouldn't have become the person that I am today. Because the person that I am today, she knows what she wants in life. She's more self-aware. She knows her worth. And she knows what she shall and shall not deal with. Heavy on the shall not. Because there's things I will not tolerate that I used to tolerate. Which is why, again, I said that setting boundaries is important. You should always set boundaries. It's okay to tell a person no. Okay? You can tell them any kind of way. You can simply say it in a nice way. You can say no. You can say no. You can just shake your head. You can do whatever. It's okay to tell people no. You don't got to do things that you don't want to do. Because there's always going to be someone that wants you to do something that you don't want to do. And then they want to play this little, I hate this little game. They always want to play this. Oh, if you don't do this for me, then you don't really care about me. Or I thought you said you would always be there for me and stuff like that. The sympathy and empathy card, I hate it. Like, okay, hate it with a passion. Because I'm like, if this person does this for you, and then you don't do anything for them in return, what is the point? It can't be one sided. It cannot be one sided at all. And I have just thinking about it, I'm just like, why did I do this? Why did I do this? I should have set boundaries a long, long time ago. I really should have with friends and family. And I'm not ashamed to say that. I should have set boundaries with friends and family a long time ago. So, actually, let's get into that. Let's talk about the setting boundaries with family and friends. I'll start with the friends. The boundaries I should have set with my friends. I should have just let them deal with their own problems. And the reason why I say that is because I don't mind them venting to me. I don't mind them just talking, letting it all out, and me just being there and being supportive. But it became a problem because I'm like, okay, they're venting to me, they're telling me their problem. I remember there was this one time that I tried to vent and talk about what I was going through. The reason why I say try is because when I tried to express what I was going through, the things that they would do is they would either change the topic, they would disregard what I'm saying, or they would ignore what I'm saying. One person laughed at one time, and I was like, okay, you don't care at all. And so I was like, okay, cool. But another thing is, I didn't like when they would speak for me or try to make decisions for me because they thought that, oh, this would be good for me and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, don't make decisions for me because that's why I'm so private now because I don't even tell people when I like someone because as many times I've done that, they'd be like, oh, you should go with this person. What happened with this person? I think you would work really well with this person. You and this person would be good for each other. Like they'll start making decisions for me, and I'm like, no, don't make any decisions for me. If I don't feel like this is best for me, don't make that decision for me. They used to irritate my soul a lot. It still do because sometimes they still try to do it, and I'm like, no. They be like, "Oh, I'm wishing that you find someone." I'm like, I appreciate it, but every time y'all say that, y'all get ideas. So no, no, thank you. No, thank you. And then another boundary I should have set is like when friends are like letting hits, I always tend to stay out of it, especially if it doesn't pertain to me. I tend to stay out of it. And because I thought that was best. I'm like, it's not my business, so therefore I'll stay out of it. But even then, it was a problem because I could get a text from one of them and they'll be like, do you see what this person is doing and the stuff that they're saying? Or you're always taking this person's side and I feel like an outsider and I'm just sitting here like, what am I supposed to do? Especially if I don't know the situation, I'm not gonna be in it. If it has nothing to do with me, I'm gonna stay out of it for my well-being and for my mental health because I'm not trying to stress myself out trying to once again solve everybody else's problems. I can't keep solving people's problems and then not solving my own because then it's like, then what is my purpose? What am I doing for myself? Which brings me to family. Love family. I'll forever have love for my family. But there's just some things I can't tolerate. Family or not, there's just some things I can't tolerate. There have there have been moments, and I know a lot of family members are not gonna like that I'm gonna say this. But it's my truth and it's my story because it's been said to me. And I've also witnessed it and I don't like it. There have been times where I would see family members and I'll say hey and stuff like that. Some family members would ignore me, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then there have been times where family members would talk about my appearance, talk about my weight, and how I used to be shaved. Because I remember there was a part of time in my life where I was overweight. I'll admit that. No shame in that. But I lost that weight. I remember there was one time where a family member saw me and they were like, can you breathe in that outfit? And then there was another time where they said that you look bigger from the last time I saw you. And I'm just like, how does this make someone feel good about themselves? Like, you're literally body shaming me. Or when it comes to my personal life, because I really don't go around family that much because I just like to be by myself. There's like I just like to be alone. And if I'm not alone and then friends want to hang out, like okay, sure. But majority of the time I just like to be to myself and working on things that I work on personally, whether it was like because around that time I used to like tutor, I was in like an entrepreneur group and stuff like that. Like I was doing things behind the scenes, but I just wasn't telling anybody because at the end of the day, it's not anybody's business what I'm doing. And so I would always hear comments that family members would have. Sometimes they would tell my brother when I'm not there, and then of course he'll come back and tell me like what was discussed. And I would hear things like, oh, she's not doing anything. She's just sitting around, being lazy and all that. And I'm just like, how can you sit there, not only discuss me while I'm not there, but also make comments about me when my brother's in the room and then not think that he's going to tell me? And vice versa, because I didn't like when they would make comments about my brother or anybody in my family in general. Like, don't speak on my brother. Don't speak on my dad. Don't speak on my mom. Don't speak on anybody that I care about because I used to have to just sit there and just take it in as a kid. But as an adult, my family will tell you, I don't let it slide. I speak up because it's not your place to talk about them at all. Especially if you don't know them, don't speak on them. And definitely don't speak on me because y'all don't know what be going on in my life because I don't tell y'all what goes on in my life. And it just came to a point where I'm like, and I set boundaries with family because I would get phone calls while I was here. I would get phone calls and I would be told that a family member would contact my parents and be like, they haven't heard from me in a while. Every time I come up here, I stop contacting family. And that's not the case at all. Not at all. Because I even had to tell my family that that wasn't the case. Like, yes, I come back up here because one, college, gotta focus on my classes. But whenever I'm available, which is very rare, whenever I do have time and whenever I was free, I would try and contact family members and catch up and see how they're doing. And they wouldn't answer. And so I would just be like, the fact that they can go to my parents and be like, I haven't reached out, and that's not the case at all, and I have, and just nobody was answering. I'm like, why do I always have to be the one to reach out? I was always the one reaching out to everybody, but nobody was reaching out to me. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna flip this. So this is how it's gonna go. If I reach out and no one answers, I'm not gonna waste my time and constantly try to reach out because then that means you obviously don't want to speak to me. So therefore, I don't feel like I should waste my time trying to reach out to anybody that don't want to answer or don't want to reach out, vice versa. And I also, last thing I that really irritated me because I remember this happened when before I was going to college and I was graduating high school. There were so many people, and I do mean so many people that were not talking to me, that were family. Hey, yes, I mean this with a passion. When I graduated college, do not want fake congratulations. I do not want people to fake praise me anymore like they done for my graduation. Because I can come out and say that my graduation was supposed to be a happy moment. Part of it still was, but at the same time, I felt like it wasn't my moment. Like I wasn't happy. And that says a lot because you're supposed to be celebrating. And I cried the night of my graduation because comments were made then. And mentally, I was just like, this wasn't my moment. And no matter how much love I have for my friends and family, and I know they're all going to be watching this or listening to this, whether depending on what platform they're going to be listening to this on. As much love I have for you all, I can legit say to you all, do not take my kindness for weakness ever again. Do not think that you could push over me ever again. I am not a kid no more. I am an adult. And I legit wish people would acknowledge me as an adult because I don't have a kid mindset. It's not it's not always rainbows and sunshine. It's like I witnessed so much and I stayed quiet for so long. And now I can finally say, like, no, you can't push over me no more. I'm not that little girl that's just like where people would be like, oh, you can't have an opinion. You can't say anything. Your opinion don't matter. When in reality, my opinion does matter just as much as everybody else. It always did matter. But nobody ever wanted me to showcase that. But they can't have a say so anymore. You can't say whatever you want to me anymore. Because I know who I am. I know what I'm gonna do with my life. My voice matters, whether you like to hear it or not. My opinion matters, whether you want to hear it or not. And what I do in my life is not y'all's business. And if I don't want to tell y'all my business, then it's just that. It's just that simple. And I'm happy I can finally say that. Because for a while, I'm just like, it was just all everything. Like y'all know that saying. When there's so many secrets, everything just gets swept under the rug. I can't sweep nothing under the rug. Not when it comes to my mental health. Not when it comes to my well being and who I am. I've dealt with people lying on me. I've dealt with rumors. I dealt with people downgrading who I am as a person. I've dealt with people thinking that I'm using them. I've dealt with a lot. And I used to just have to accept that. Just chew it up and swallow my pride and who I am and just accept it like, okay. Because people would just take whatever someone says about me and they would just go with it. They would just believe it. And I'm like, okay, it's cool. It's fine. But nowadays, as the years gone on, those same people are starting to realize, like, hey, that's not who she really was. And like, I can't even say that there's so many people that have apologized. I could probably list on one hand how many people have actually apologized for that. And it's not that many. Sucks to say, it's not that many. But you know what? It's okay. Because I've learned from it. And I said, I'm going to do something for me. And I'm going to showcase who I am. And I'm showcased through my talent and my dreams. And that's what I did. Because I started this podcast. And this podcast was honestly for me. Because originally I didn't think that people were going to listen to this podcast. And then when people started listening to it and they were expressing how they've been through similar things that I've went through, I was like, okay. I was like, let's keep this going. Because that's what my purpose was anyways, to showcase what I haven't been able to say for years. I wanted to voice my opinion. I wanted to tell my story my way and not have other people tell my story. Because people love to try to tell somebody else's story and then not have all the facts. And so that's why I was just like, I gotta set boundaries with both. And am I gonna change my rules for my boundaries when it pertains to family and friends? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I say that with the utmost respect and love. I'm setting boundaries. I am happy with my boundaries. And if no one likes my boundaries, that is totally fine. That is totally okay. I still wish you the best in life, but I just can't. I can't give respect and then not give respect back. Like you, like that's like the most dreadful and annoying thing. When you give someone so much respect and you get no respect in return, it's not it. It's not it. And I definitely can't respect anyone who will sit there in my face and talk down on anyone in my family, especially if they don't even know them or don't know nothing about my family. That has happened before. That has happened before. I've had someone talk down on my family and they didn't even know who my family was. They knew nothing about them. Didn't even try to know them or anything. And it's like you will sit there and judge a person but don't even know who they are. I've been judged literally all my life. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been judged a lot. I've been told that I'm a bad influence. I've been told that I'm not a good friend, that need to be mindful of when they're around me, that I'm just this aggressive person that's always yelling or is always angry. And that wasn't the case at all. So, actually, let me get into that. So, for those who don't know, there was like a time period in my life where I got bullied a lot. I got bullied a lot badly. There was like so many things that people used to say about me. And I used to just ignore it at first, but then it got to a point where it's like I can't keep ignoring it. I got to say something. I got to defend myself because I'm like, otherwise, if I don't, I'm gonna become this person that I'm not. And the last thing you want to do is become someone that you're not. And I remember one day I finally decided, you know what? I'm gonna stick up for myself. And when I did, the way so many people took that person's side and said that I was in the wrong and that I was upset for no reason. And I'm just like, the way people are so quick to just pick a side and not hear both sides, it's very humbling. It's very humbling. It really is very humbling because it's like the way you are so quick to believe someone and not hear both sides. And then when you finally know the truth, you're looking crazy. Crazy how that works, huh? Because I even had people make comments about when I was becoming a CNA. People were making comments like, oh, it's not this hard. I don't understand why she's taking so long to understand this, like fast paced and all that. And I'm like, I remember I just laughed to myself because I'm like, they're talking about me. They have a problem with how I'm learning the material. They're mad at the fact that I'm going to take my time to become a good CNA and future nurse, right? But in the end, these same people that would sit there, take time out of their day to lie on my name, spread rumors, and think I would never find out about this, were the same people that needed my help at the end of the day. Crazy how that works. At the end of the day, all these people, even if I wasn't friends with them, they needed my help at the end of the day. Whether it pertained to schoolwork, whether it came to any like group projects and stuff like that, they always needed my help. But I'm such this bad person. All these people needed my help. That's why I'm like, mentally, I should have known a while ago that mentally all this, as they would just kept playing back in my head over and over again, I just needed to accept reality that, hey, it's okay to not be okay. But it's also okay to set boundaries and not tolerate things that you should have never tolerated. And I shouldn't have tolerated it. But I don't regret it. I don't regret it because I learned a lot from it. And I made new friends, met new people that I'm really good friends with and that I can trust and that I have a good bond with. And I'm happy with that. And the family that I still do talk to, I'm thankful for them. The ones that no longer talk to me, again, I have nothing negative to say. And that says a lot because despite everything I've gone through with these family members that I no longer am in contact with anymore, I'm still that type of person that will wish you the best. Even if you don't want to talk to me, I will still wish you the best. But all I ask is to just don't lie on me. Don't lie on my name. Don't lie on me. Don't lie to me. Don't lie about who I am as a person. I don't do none of that. For your mental well being and for my mental well being. Because, so this this is like gonna be like one of my second longest episodes. We're almost 50 minutes in. But what I want to say to my viewers and to anyone who's ever dealt with mental health problems, whether it's anxiety, depression, trauma, like disorders, any of that matter. What I want y'all to learn from this is there are going to be times where when you're at your lowest, and it's okay. But at the end of the day, it's how you go about it. It's are you going to let that define who you are, or are you going to learn from it and grow from it and move on and improve and become a better person than you were before? And I'll admit, I had to ask myself that. I said, am I gonna let what I've been through define who I am? Or am I gonna learn from it and grow from it and become a better person? And showcase that you can do anything that you put your mind to. And so that's what I've done, and that's what I'm still doing. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm doing everything that I've always wanted to do. Because there's nothing wrong with following your dreams. Because at the end of the day, as one door closes, a bigger one opens. And bigger doors have bigger opportunities, bigger goals, bigger dreams. A lot of things that you may have thought that that smaller door may have had, this big one has for you. So never, ever, and I do mean this wholeheartedly, don't ever settle for less. Never settle for less. Never let anyone tell you what you can and cannot do in your life. And if there's something that you want to do in your life, go for it. You'll never know until you try. So by all means, try. And if it doesn't go right the first time, it's okay. Try again. Always try again. Because if you don't try again, how will you know if you'll improve? How will you know if you'll be better? Can't give up so easily. Can never give up so easily. And let me see. What else do I want to mention? I'm sorry if I'm also looking off like I'm just talking to y'all as if y'all are here. But coping mechanisms and self care. I would highly suggest that if you don't have any of those things yet, journaling is good, meditation's good, exercising's good. Just going for a walk and just going out and just have fun. Enjoy your life. Do something fun. Try new things. Go try a new food place, do something, anything to just take your mind off of it. Because your happiness is important. And it's okay to put yourself first. It is okay to put yourself first. And it's okay to not be there for everyone because at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to be there for everybody. But don't be there for people that are just going to use you. I had to learn that the hard way. Did it suck? Yes, it definitely did. I've had people that just used me and then they went on about their lives. But at the end of the day, they're never gonna find another person like me. Okay? They ain't never gonna find a friend like me because I've done so much, y'all. I just can't help but to laugh at it now. I didn't laugh then, but I can laugh now. And I said, you know what? You were too kind to the wrong people. There were some people that I was kind to that actually needed it, but then there were some people I was just kind to that did deserve my kindness. And once you take a person's kindness for granted, you can never get that back. And you can also most likely never get that person back. Like by all means, I can forgive and move on. But there is a saying like you can forgive and forget. I'm trying to forget, but at the same time, when you've been through a lot, it's hard to forget it. It's really hard to forget. It's really hard to forget. Mhm. That's another thing I want to go out. Never use someone's past against them. Because you can trust a person. You really can. You can trust a person so much. You can tell them everything that you've been through. But you gotta be mindful of who you tell your business to because they can use that against you. And it sucks. And then that'll make you go insane because you're in your thoughts. I mean, you're thinking back on your life and how you were, and you're trying to move past that, but people keep throwing your past at you. And it's like, when are y'all gonna accept reality that yes, everybody has a past. Not everybody's past is perfect, but does that mean that you gotta use that against them constantly? No, not at all. Not at all. But to the person that also tells that other person your business, you don't have to accept them throwing that back at your face either. You don't have to accept that. If you know that's not who you are anymore, don't let it affect you. Don't let it affect you. And don't let them make you go back to who you once were. Especially after you've made so much progress and you know you've made so much progress. Don't let someone dictate that. Because at the end of the day, I'm proud. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of everybody who has been through mental health issues and mental health problems. I'm happy that I was able to finally share my own personal mental health experience that I went through. Because I never thought I was going to go through it, but hey, every day is something new, and we learn from it. And I'm relieved. I'm relieved, and I'm happy with my decisions that I have made because I know it was for the best. It was for the best for me. Okay. It was good for me. And I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it at all. Because if I didn't accept reality, I would have never made my decisions and I still would have just been going through this. And my mental health would have just gotten worse and worse. And I would have got more burnt out and tired and stressed and overwhelmed in my head and in my thoughts. And I'm not dealing with that anymore. I'm not dealing with that anymore. And nobody should. Nobody should. So, with that being said, to anyone who this, because again, this is a very personal video that I've done. I don't think I've ever done a personal podcast episode like this, like actually being emotional and very vocal and honest about my own personal experiences in this exam. It's just like a weight is off my shoulders. I'm so relieved. Thank you, Malcolm. It feels so good. It feels so good. So, this is episode 7, mental health. And I know this may have been hard for some of my viewers to watch because a lot of people haven't seen me be emotional and this honest and vocal. And I know some people have may also been through this in their own lives, whether it's like similar or different ways. I just want to let you know that if you have dealt with mental health and if you're still going through it, I just want to let you know that you will get through it. You are strong and you will do great things. But my words are just my words and they can be encouraging. But it is also important that you encourage yourself as well and you put those words into your own mind and tell yourself that, hey, I'm gonna be okay. I can get through it and I am strong because it's not easy. It's not easy to get through. I know for a fact that it's not easy to go through. And hey, I'm still going through it, but I'm in the positive part. Like I'm more positive, I'm more happy. Like I'm way happier than I have been. And I'm thankful for that. And so I know that I can get through it. I know that you guys can get through it. No matter how long it takes, because it can take time. It may take weeks, it may take months, it may take years. No matter how long it takes, you'll get through it. Just believe in yourself and know that you can get through it. And don't let anyone dictate or make decisions for you. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. You only got one life, possibly. If we come, unless we get reincarnated, whatever happens. And so, enjoy your life, live it to the fullest, do something fun, and try to stay positive if you can. If you gotta cry, by all means, cry. If you gotta scream to let your anger out, do that. Do what works for you. I've done it all. I've cried. I've let out my anger. And in the midst of that, still went to do something fun for myself. just to just to try and just disregard. But no, don't disregard it. Just accept it. Just accept the fact when you know that you're not okay. And it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to accept that. This is another long episode, but I hope that you all learned something from this episode. And I'm happy that I was able to share a little part of my life with y'all. Because y'all know how I am about sharing my life with people. So, with that being said, we're already an hour in. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. It's episode 7. We are getting up there. We're almost at 10 episodes. This is episode 7 of the MeriaMarie podcast. And yes, it's going to be on both platforms. I'm going to upload it on YouTube and I'm going to upload it for my Spotify listeners. I will be editing this immediately after I end this. So, with that being said, I will see you guys next time for the next episode or vlog or gaming video, whatever I do next, because y'all know I do a bit of everything. So, stay positive, stay blessed. I love you guys. I will see you next time. And with that being said, this is the end of the MeriaMarie podcast. So, deuces, peace, and love.
Topping up the mess, drop it in the water, let the daughter find her image with the rest. She'll be learning how to breathe, spinning through identity, reveal another pretty little scheme. Save her mind.